said you haven't had a drink in almost 11 years. Were there points along there where it was close?
No.
Or was it just like, I'm done?
I knew that my drinking was just different. Like, it was dark. And I was I became belligerent, you know? And there was one day where I got really drunk. I blacked out. I don't know what I did, but I got in a fight with some friends that I really liked, and I think I like pushed them or tried to fight them, and I was very, very ashamed of that, and I couldn't deal with that shame. And then I had a friend who committed suicide, and I always had this thing where like I would walk down the street and I would see like homeless people, and I had this knowing inside me that like if I didn't face my demons, I possessed that kind of mental illness. And so once I had that awareness, my friend committed suicide, and it made me feel like, oh, like I could definitely do that. You know, like I have that in me. And I also like, you know, I I had an attempt in there, and I was ashamed of myself. And I had a roommate that was had been to, you know, had gotten sober and done 12-step recovery work, and he was even drank and did coke, and he was like, yo, you should go to that, you know, like when, and I didn't have any family members tell me, but I like, and listen, it just works for me. It just worked for me. It saved my life. But I got sober and I did 12 steps, and I just knew it was where I belonged. And to answer your question, like, was there any moment where I was ever close? I think that in the beginning of sobriety, it's kind of all the time. But once I made up my mind and I knew those three things within myself, I said I'm never going back. And I think the reason a lot of people go back and forth and in and out is because they have a safety net. Like, people will bail them out. Mm-hmm. And I knew that if I knew that no one was coming, and it was like this deep loneliness, no one was coming, and it was just me and my maker.
Right.
You know, so throughout that period of throughout the 11 years, you know, I did take the journey into plant medicine. So that was at 6.5 years. I wanted to go deeper into my traumas, and there was a lot of things I wanted to heal from, and I think inevitably the process of sobriety is an unraveling of like what's really going on deep down inside. And I never ever wanted to drink again. It's actually something I take great pride in, that I have boundaries as a man that dictate how I show up and who I am in the world. But it's manifested in other ways, but never in a way where it was like I know that I can safely drink or that I even want to.
Yeah, that's powerful. When it's at a point where it's like there's not even like a negotiation or a question of whether it's going to happen. Were there any things that stood out to you through that process of getting sober and digging in to your past?
I think it's might be kind of a little philosophical, but it was clearing all the turmoil and chaos within myself enough to let another human being be like truly intimate with another human being. Like my sponsor, I've called this man for like 9 years, like multiple times a week, sometimes every day, sometimes multiple times a day. I don't think there's any other human in this world who knows me more intimately. And up until that point in my life, I don't think that I ever experienced unconditional love. And it was just out of service, like him trying to be of service to me, and in hopes that I will like pass it forward, you know? And I think that really changed everything for me. Like, I don't think I felt like I had never been like heard up until that point of my life. And obviously there's like many layers, and time time will bring things up, but I think at the core of addiction, it's just a deep loneliness. And the process of working on myself and getting sober and doing steps and all that is uncovering everything in the way that allows me to be connected to other people, that keeps me isolated and keeps me wanting to think I'm different.